In this lesson, I'd like to make a quick review of the iOS framework libraries, and we'll look at how they fit together in the context of app development, and then move on to look at new functionality in iOS 5. The first area we'll look at is the core libraries. We'll then move into the media library layer, and then take a look at Cocoa Touch, and then move on to those new additions. So let's jump into the core libraries. The core libraries are the bottom layer of the stack, if you like. It's the underlying operating system and the base functionality. We have the core operating system, we have core services, and core services are mostly C-based. This is the low-level stuff. This is where the low-level networking takes place. This is the code that's required to integrate with the operating system, to create threads, to access files, to access network sockets. Not the sort of thing we'll normally have to worry about, and not an area we'll be working in. If we take a look at the media libraries, now we find we have a mixture of C and Objective-C libraries. And this is the layer that provides support for drawing, for audio, for video, and for more advanced animation. Specialized functionality, such as OpenGL-ES, Quartz, Core Audio, Core Animation, and others. Again, quite advanced stuff and not an area we'll normally be working in. Then we get to Cocoa Touch. Cocoa Touch is really the foundation layer for our applications. Now everything's mostly Objective-C based. And we have, indeed, Foundation, which is the object-oriented support for the network, for file, for data types, etc. We have UIKit at this level for creating windows, views, and controllers. And we have others such as AddressBook, EventKit, MapKit, etc. for creating specific functionality in our applications. So when we're developing applications for iOS, we're really looking at Cocoa Touch and UIKit. This is the focal point of our app development. We will add and use further libraries to support further functionality, so specific device functions such as camera, etc., and accessing calendar events using specific libraries, specific frameworks. And we'll only normally descend into the lower layers when we need to develop some sort of custom behavior. Now we'll be talking about some of that on the course, but we'll also be talking about Cocoa Touch and UIKit level work as well. Now let's take a look at those iOS 5 new editions. We have over 2,000 new APIs. What does this really mean? It means we have some new libraries, and we have many additions to existing libraries, many new functions or methods that have been added. We have new libraries such as GLKit Framework. We have the Core Image Framework, Twitter Framework, and the Accounts Framework. We also have a generic security services framework. We have Core Bluetooth, and we have the iCloud storage APIs. And along with the iCloud storage APIs, we have document support added to Cocoa Touch. The UE document is important for iCloud, but also very useful for document-centric applications because it has inbuilt features that allow us to autosave, to perform asynchronous read-write operations, to perform version conflict resolution, and much more. Let's take a look at each of these frameworks in turn. We start off with GLKit Framework, and this abstracts functionality for OpenGL ES2 and simplifies the effort required to create an OpenGL ES2 application. We're given a new view and a new view controller to create OpenGL ES-enabled views. We're given a texture loader, and we're given various predefined shaders, all to help us work much easier with OpenGL ES2. The Core Image Framework gives us some built-in filters for manipulating video and still images. We can perform image correction so red-eye correction on photos, for example. We can perform face and feature detection. And when we change images, the work we do is non-destructive. We don't change the original photos, but we save copies. It will also use available CPU and GPU power, so for example on the iPhone 4S, the dual core will be used, and the better graphic processing power will be used as well. New classes provided here are CI Image and CI Filter. The Twitter framework. The Twitter framework will provide support for sending Twitter requests. Uses a new TW Tweet Compose View controller to compose tweets in a very similar way to how Message UI works to compose mails or to compose SMSs. And it handles authentication for other types of requests and provides us with an HTTP template for building those requests. And it works with the Accounts framework to access a user's account details, assuming that they are defined in the settings on a device. The Accounts framework itself provides a single sign-on model for certain user accounts. Now, currently in iOS 5, that's used in conjunction with the Twitter framework to access a user's Twitter account, and I'm sure we'll probably see this being used for further single sign-on support in the future. The Generic Security Services framework is underlying from all of this, and it provides a standard set of security-related services adhering to these standards. We won't go any further into that for the time being, but we'll move on to look at Core Bluetooth. Now, Core Bluetooth is quite exciting. It allows us to interact with Bluetooth low-energy accessories. We can scan for them, we can connect to them or disconnect from them. We can read and write attributes within a service and register for a service that's provided by the accessory. We can change attributes and we can receive notifications of when attributes have been changed. And there's a lot more in there as well. Basically, what this gives us is all we need to write applications that interact with Bluetooth accessories. So that's well worth looking at. Now, the iCloud storage APIs have also been added in iOS 5 to support iCloud in our own applications. They provide support for both types of iCloud data storage, both key-value data pair storage and document storage. This will allow us to build applications which can share settings between different devices or can share documents between different devices. iCloud promises to be very exciting and to change the way we actually allow our users to work with our applications. So this particular set of APIs is also definitely worth looking into, and we'll be looking at it later on. Other new additions which have come along with iOS 5 include changes to many other libraries. As you can see, there are changes to just about every library you can think of here, including, for example, small additions to AV Foundation, to the Assets Library, more major additions to Core Motion, Core Location, etc., etc. In other words, lots of new fun things to play with. Now, I'll be going through some of these changes and what they mean for developers in the first chapter of the course booklet. But for the time being, let's take a look at some other improvements. Of course, we have newsstand support. And of course, we have some additions to AirPlay functionality to allow our applications to take advantage of dual screen and screen mirroring, etc. We have some data protection improvements. And we have custom appearance for UIKit controls, which I'll be covering in one of the chapters of the course. We have a lot of Xcode improvements. Storyboards being one of the major ones, also a subject of a chapter in the course, and automatic reference counting. Improved instrument traces will help us to make sure our applications perform better. OpenGLES debugging has been added for those of you who are into building quite complex animations. And we can now set custom locations in the iOS simulator Extremely useful for when testing MapKit applications. Now, storyboards and automatic reference counting are probably two of the biggest changes that have come along with the Xcode improvements. We'll take a look at them in the course, along with a quick look at the instruments-related changes, and I'll also be showing you how you can set your own custom user location in the iOS simulator to make your MapKit testing easier. Now, in addition to the information you'll find in the course booklet, you'll also find information in the developer portal under these two URLs. Now, the first link is available currently as a link from the portal itself under What's New in iOS 5. The second link points to a PDF, which is effectively the long version of the previous information and is also what is downloaded when you click the download button at the top right of the screen in the previous link. And of course, the booklet provided with the course will have some more information from me about how you can use some of the other additions to iOS 5 within your applications. So that was our short recap of the iOS framework libraries and a first look at some of the great new additions that came along with iOS 5, and I'm sure you'll agree that they present plenty of exciting opportunities for developers to create some really great apps.